earn money and would not be able to pay off the debt. If the youth collapsed under the weight of stress, the Baron would be sad, and the Baroness might also fall ill. He folded his arms and asked the brave knight to protect their family. The interlocutor frowned and turned around. He struck the hammer with force. After Xavier finished practicing, they made reinforced rod frames with steel protrusions at the end. And finally, the long-awaited cement was poured. After it hardened, the well could be disassembled. The marine artificial soil was laid. The hero looked at the count and said that it was 50 centimeters above the water level. If they installed the statue here, it would rise above the water. The man crossed his arms and agreed. He looked down carefully and said that he still could not believe that the column would be able to withstand the weight of the statue. Cremo smiled and promised to be generous if everything worked out. The young man bowed with a grin. Night fell. Several ships surrounded the statue. The monument was decorated with gold and jewelry. At this time, there was a feast on the ships, and the tables were laden with food. Lloyd straightened his collar, irritated by it. He looked at the knight and asked how he could wear it. The interlocutor noted that the aristocrat spoke as if he was dressed like that for the first time. After all, he had already had similar outings. The brown-haired man looked away and muttered that it was a long time ago. The count pointed to the young man and asked for a moment of attention. He said that this young man had made an invaluable contribution to the installation of the statue. The guests looked in that direction with admiration and surrounded Xavier to shake his hand. Lloyd remained standing with a stony expression. He thought that he knew that everything would come to this. The young man convinced himself that he was not jealous, and money was more important to him than words of praise. The knight looked at him with sympathy. The hero mentally asked him to turn away and not feel sorry for him. The count laughed and said that it was all because of the aristocrat's face. The brown-haired man thought that the man was already getting on his nerves. Cremo put his hand on the young man's shoulder and said that he was responsible for installing the statue. The guests were surprised because they thought he was a simple servant. The ship was illuminated by lights, and the waves were roaring overboard. A shadow appeared under